Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the second game of the day. We are here of course in the FC Dynamo Brest 2017 Cup, and my name is Hawker to bring you the action for the day. We are here of course still in Group A because we've got Nova back again up against Passions. And after that previous loss they will be looking to rebound with a win here. That leaves Nova currently with 1 win, 1 loss. I believe they won their first game up against El Quivet, a Russian team which is fairly unknown. So I think that was always expected to go in their favour. And as soon as they got their first sort of decent test, in my opinion, in terms of Team 5, didn't quite go their way. They were certainly in the game, and there were many mistakes, feels like, that they could have overcome. So let's see if they can work on those mistakes here, because they are now playing Mirage on the Nova side of things, which is, of course, the map that they beat El Quivet on in the opening game for them in this very tournament. So hopefully, for their sakes, they will have as similar of a good time on Mirage as they did in their first. They won that one, I believe, 16-12, and they will be looking to win this one as well. As we get underway, in come the Glocks, just rushing straight out through mid. That's not something you see very often, but it's going to work out this time. And here comes Zabby looking for the frag. Zadish in all kinds of trouble. There's players all around him. Surely he will go down. Norrison pushing in. Drops the bomb. That's a huge mistake. The CTs can now rotate over. Here comes Carcass, though, jumping aggressively to make sure that kill comes in. The bomb is still in danger, though. Brolan is trying to lock that down in towards window. And in the meantime, Carcass is spotting for the flank. Rusty should go down. Indeed, he does. And Brolan, the one man left, does take a quick headshot. He's going to look for some more, but in comes Carcass with the USP he just picked up, finding the headshot at long range for a 3k. So Nova take the first pistol round, but they will still have to deal with the force from Passions. Oh, nice shot from Hampus, opening things up towards mid. So Passions get themselves the man advantage. A little over a minute left on the clock. Nova focus their attention towards mid. There's currently a stack towards B, and it looks like Nova might focus around the A site to finish things off, because you can see on your map Zabby is in towards A ramp. So I hope for Nova's sake they do go towards the A site, although Passions themselves aren't quite fully going for a B stack here. They are going to slowly make some players back around. So with 30 seconds left, Passions will go for the full rotate, but it's just not quickly enough. Benny finally spots them out, but here comes Hardwell finding one with the AK, spraying away for a second. So the Rifles will get the job done, even after that one kill they lost early on. Doesn't lead to anything. Hampus' Deagle will go to waste. Zadish is the one man left. And I believe I should be joined by Danny, unless we have technical issues, which is always an issue, but Danny, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, to be honest.
Beautiful stuff. I did just miss the last kill there while I was alt-tabbed, because I forgot to put it on auto-director, but we'll just ignore that. Wasn't important. How you doing, Danny?
Well, I gotta admit, I'm doing quite fine. Had a bit of a day off, so Having, day offs is always nice. But yeah, speaking about Counter-Strike though, gotta jump into this game now. Then we not. I mean, we have Nova, the mixed team here versus the Passions of Sweden, and apparently looks like the CTs are gonna get pretty easily ecoed here unless the Carcass and the Nate got something to say about it. He be getting the 4K in the round, but yeah, I mean, we saw Nova picking up the pistol round, and for the time being, though, it looks like they're having a relatively good job here on the terrorist side of Mirage, except that, I don't know, Passions, I saw them wreck one of the Polish teams, that being Pride on Mirage, in a very convincing scoreline. Hampus, though, I had no idea how on earth did he get there on his short. It looks like he's gonna meet his end there in the end, so still a relatively expensive round there for Nova, but I gotta admit though, Passions, I'm expecting for them to perform on Mirage.
Yeah, I certainly feel like Passions could do very well, and Nova especially, they looked pretty weak on their T side when they played against El Quivet, the Russian team, earlier on. That's the first game they played that I casted, and they really didn't look that great on the T side. I think that's something Nova could struggle with in terms of the chemistry. It seems like this team hasn't been together too long. A very sort of strange mixed team. You don't often see these sort of nationalities mixed together, but hey, we've seen it more and more often. It's working out for Nova so far. They are 3-0 up, but Passions, of course, have the bye, and they have the AWP of Benny currently in towards Connector. It doesn't seem like you'll get too much action yet, though, because Nova are going to focus their attention towards mid to start things off, and there goes Hardwell finding a headshot. Benny himself did get one with the AWP, though, so back to a 4-on-4.
Yeah, that's a frag there for the Passion side, but as to say so, I mean, Hiski, Latvian player, also stepping up for this terrorist side, and now all they've got to do now is to recover the bomb, and the bomb will be recovered. And now they're going to be having a bomb site on which they should be having a relatively good odds on defending it, because think about it, you have 3 Ts against 2 of those CTs who are both in position, that be Jungle, and Hardwell looks like he's got the angle. He got the angle indeed, but now Rusty, he's not going to be able to pick up any more kills than that. Carcass is there to stop the madness. Yeah, it looks like Nova, they're going to be acquiring their 4th round here on the terrorist side nonetheless. There's Mirage and Passions having some economical issues at this point. I mean, now they're going to be having maximum lose money bonus, which is nice, but for the time being though, they're just going to have to rock with these pistols, and this should be again an opportunity. It seemed like Nova to acquire another round on here on the board, and Nova, very simple stuff, rush going to the A-bombs. It could have worked out well for Passions if it would have been a stack, but now, as you see, the AK-47s are ripping through the opposition. The CTs are not going to be having easy this time around, but Broland, though, he will be getting a nice 1D, but Norrison coming up from behind the MAC-10 with the kills on the list. Easy kills there for the MAC-10 player, and even though Nova, they acquired themselves 5 rounds here on the T side, which is nice and all, but Passions going to be having a very nice looking investment.
Yeah, I saw Norrison at the end there. He tried to switch up to the AK, but just missed the timing, so he's stuck with the MAC-10. He decides to upgrade to the AK, though. So he had to rebuy that, but not too much of a big deal. Either way, Passions, of course, going back to the AWP. Benny playing on towards the A site, and we're seeing some aggression from the terrace in towards Apps early on. It doesn't seem like it's going to go too far. It's just Carcass holding with the AWP. Bit of spray back, but not really too much going down. So Nova with the 5-0 lead are happy to continue to play things slowly at the start of the round. I'm surprised to see them not really go for any presence towards mid to start things off. Here comes the flash, and Carcass, full blind, still gets the leg shot, but not enough for the kill. And so Nova finally go a man down. Let's see how they recover from this 4-on-5, because so far it's been fairly easy for them. So now they are a man down. Let's see what they do with that as they look to, by the looks of things, make their way out mid.
I think they're going to try to do so, especially Hiski. He's in a very good spot at this point. When you take a look at it, he's got a relatively nice map information right there. He doesn't see anyone towards window, but in the worst case scenario, which I think is going to be the case, when Nova will push forward onto the same bomb site, Hiski's job is to pretty much catch out any flanking players, one of which could very much be Broland. And if Broland isn't careful enough, well, that could very much be a frag there for Hiski. But now take a look at Nova. They're deploying the utility on the A-bombs, and they're going to be ready to push, and the push will commence, but Hiskey, he will be fouled, and the flank is pretty much done at this point. Norson and Hardwell going to be having quite the difficult affair here on the A-bombs, so we'll try to push. I mean, there's nothing much more the T players can do, but this is just going to be difficult for Hardwell. Easy frags there for Brolin in the end. It looks like Passion's going to be having a very clean round here, not losing a single player. You know, Rusty, he did get tagged down there in the first seconds of the round, but even then, it's 5 players surviving here for the Passion side, and with 5 players surviving, the CD side is going to be building up some sort of bank here in the upcoming rounds, so that's something they can be very happy about. But Nova, an investment of their own. Again, we're going to be seeing Carcass with the op, who is positioned towards ramp. Doesn't see anyone just yet, and he won't be for the time being, though, especially that smoke right in front of him. But take a look at Passions. Look at this push there from Hampus.
Yeah, playing aggressively towards top mid, and he had some support earlier, but now it's just Brolan holding back from window. Smoke comes through though, so Hampus will play things a little bit more cautiously, although there is a slight gap in that smoke he might try to use. And bending himself in towards connector is with that AWP. I think he got forced back by the molly. However, it seems like Nova not really going for the mid control. They went for a few nades out, and now they're just going to make their way back. By the looks of things, grouping up around that A bomb site. We saw them go for the push in the previous round, but that was when they already had a couple of men lost, and that was always going to make it difficult. However, Passions themselves have 3 players stacked on towards this A site, so this is still not going to be an easy push, even with the utility. As we see Nova line up this A play, let's see if this time it's a bit more successful than the last round.
It could be, though. Especially to take a look, you have 5 of those T's pushing on a bomb site, which has 2 defenders at the time being. So this could very much work out here for the Nova side, but as they are pushing, they're taking their sweet time, and there we go, Brolin. What a nice shot from him there for the smoke indeed. And now Nova, they will be planting the bomb, but even though not, Brolin again for the smoke. This man is unstoppable, but it looks of it, Carcass and Zabby are now going to be having quite the difficult time here. Carcass 1 versus 4 with the op in hand, which is nice, but he just doesn't have enough time to work with here. 10 seconds, and the bomb is dropped in the middle of nowhere, and saving the op is of great priority at this point.
Yeah, not too much else to be done. Carcass goes running away, and the rest of Nova don't really have the best of money here. Even with the saved AWP, Carcass, of course, doesn't get any bonus money for surviving. So it's kind of a question as to whether or not they want to force, but the rest of the team could probably just go for 1 eco and afford the buy. And even Carcass has a little bit of money built up, so it looks like they decide it's just worth going for the eco. And that means that Carcass is going to have to do a lot of the work in this round if they are to come out on top with that AWP. They are going to stick together around Carcass, so I wouldn't be surprised to see either Carcass try and get the opening pick, or even to just send in the pistols first to get him the info. Seems like for the time being they're going to sit back, and there's only 1 player on the A site here, so this could be successful for them. Zadish for the time being by himself, although there is a player back in towards jungle. You can see Nova slowly but surely creeping their way out through a ramp. Zadish gets flashed in for the peek, and a fairly easy opening, make it a 2nd kill. He's just shutting them down. Zadish gets all 4 kills, only up against the pistols, so it was fairly easy, but here comes Carcass with that 1 AWP. He misses the shot, he's out in the open, and he will end up going down. And that does not go how Nova were hoping on the A push.
No. Oh no, it didn't. Especially with Carcass having the op. I wanted to see him to actually have more freedom, Try to take a look towards the A-bombs, and maybe there's a possibility to get a frag there. No? Then how about switch on over towards middle, top mid? Maybe he can get a frag towards that part of the map, or maybe even towards B. It would have been nice to see the opera roam around the map a bit more, as, the T's, they still had time, time was not of the essence. But it's just that it would have been nice for the op to get those early engagements, and worst case scenario, you have players with pistols, you can pick up the op, and it's not big of a deal, but now Nova are going to be going for the full-on investment here, and already quite a shaky start here. Hardwell hitting the floor, as he actually going to be taken down from the smoke, so Nova again in a disadvantageous position, and the T side of theirs, if there's something we can learn from it, then it's definitely not their strongest suit, and they need to acquire as many rounds as possible. But Passions, the city side could be having quite the easy affair here, especially with Hampus getting the initial frag, And now it looks like Zay will be getting the frag onto Norson, and he will be tagging down the player in connector quite a bit, and he's gonna try to go for the push. Of course, Hiski didn't have much to work with there, so it does make sense, but in the end, it doesn't really work out for him, and almost the lineup there. Carcass again left in a clutch scenario. It's possible for Carcass, but it is gonna be quite difficult, I must admit. Rusty finishing things off, and even though the scoreline at one point was 5-0, looks like Passions are actually very soonly will be able to extend the lead and maybe even tie up the scoreline.
Yeah, and Passions have been winning these recent rounds really convincingly. Even without Benny having to do too much with the AWP, he's still down there at only 1 kill. But the rest of the team have been able to really step up in these recent rounds. We've seen, for the most part, 5 or 4 players surviving on almost all of them. That last one, there was only 3 surviving, but still plenty surviving in the rounds. So that means their money is also starting to become really strong, whereas Nova back down to the pistols. And so this, I think, could become very dangerous for Nova, even though they got the 5-0 lead. We've seen their T side be weak in the past, so you have to kind of think to yourself, where would they be without that quick 5-0 lead thanks to the pistol round? They could have been in real trouble here, but they have got those 5 on the board. There goes Norrison getting the first kill, but Hampers finds the trades. Looks like the rifle's looking okay, although as I say that, Carcass finds another kill. Hampers, though, on the rotate, might shut down the bomb. There's the first frag, but he doesn't peek any further. So the plant comes through, and Zabi also has a rifle here. The 2-on-3 somewhat possible now for Nova.
It's not looking bad. It's not looking bad at all, but Brolin should be taking out Zabi. Now we're going to be seeing Harwell. Can he hit the deal shots? It's going to be of great importance if he can, but with Molotov being deployed, it's now going to be a bit too difficult, but Harwell, a very nice shot from him, and he might just take down Brolin if possible, but Brolin is making noise, but the aim punch is way too strong, and thus Brolin with a round win. And as I said, Passions, now they've even tied up the scoreline here at Nova. I'm looking relatively lost here now. I'm expecting a bit more now from the terrorist side, as they're going to be having those rifles, a possibility to see Carcass again with the op, and I'm expecting a bit more from them. You know, if Carcass will be purchasing the op, he should of course be the one to try to get the entry frag if possible for this terrorist side, because they've been very much relying on those entry frags, and if Carcass is able to hit his shots, well then so should the remaining Nova side. So now we take a look at the players here. Again, Carcass, he's got a very nice angle here, but the question is, can he get the frag though? As a player is towards the B, bomb side flash coming through, and yep, Carcass not going to be hitting his shot. And take a look at Hiski though, with his knife out, spotting out Benny, but Benny, he's got the nice angle, but looks like Hiski though will be coming out on top there. So again, Nova finally gets something going for them.
Yeah, Benny been struggling a bit in this game so far, but here comes Hampus. Carcass just walks out there with the AWP. I don't think he was expecting the second man, and Brolan gets a kill towards mid, but the trade comes through. So not too bad for Nova, especially if Hardwell could win this fight, and he does just that. The AK comes out on top. Husky holding the angle, gets another free headshot. And Passion's just kind of walking their way forwards. There are a couple of players caught off guard by the aggressive angles from Nova. So now Zadish left 1-on-3. You can see Nova all spread out across the map, which isn't great to see, as Zadish isolates one 1-on-1 fight to bring it back to a 1v2. But now it looks like Nova have realized they need to stick together, and as Zadish comes in, Zabi will indeed shut him down. So a little bit scary for Nova at the end there, but they get the round win, and that's the most important thing for them, of course. They've managed to put a stop to that 5-round winning streak. But now, heading into round 12, both teams still on the bye, and an AWP back in the hands of Benny. He hasn't really got anything going with that so far, so if he's going to invest in towards this AWP, we're going to have to see him pull something off here in this round as he makes his way towards mid.
Yeah, we're going to be expecting that, to say the least. Benny with the AWP, he is holding from window. Doesn't see anyone as of yet as top mid though. Even though the smoke has been deployed, the T's are still very reluctant on pushing that part of the map. And there's actually a bit of a gap there to allow Benny to maybe get an early engagement there. But anyhow, the rest of the Nova side is playing relatively passively. Even the Opera from Carcass holding the angle towards a palace. He doesn't see anything as of yet, and the remainder as well, you have them spread out towards top mid. Underpass. The players in Underpass, though, they're the ones that are actually going for the push here. They have this sort of two-man setup here, and probably, if possible, they're going to try to get some frags here. But Brolin, though, the timing is not going to be in his favor. Instead, is going to be favorable for the T side, though. As you take a look at the T's, they're moving slowly but surely towards this A bomb set, in which, well, the push should come through any moment now. This setup in Shadows, though, 2 players towards Shadow. This could be deadly here for the CT side, and there we go, Zash with 2 of those frags. And I have to admit, Nova going to be having quite some issues here, as well as Hampus with another one, and a second one at that. So Hardwell, even though he's got the bomb on his shoulders, I mean, it's still going to be one hell of a difficult clutch. Nice flash coming in there, and Nova, even though they pick up the 1 round, they get instantly eco after losing the second one, and thus an eco will come through. A force buy is a possibility for the T side, but I think if they eco this one out, they should still have a somewhat decent buy if they do wish so, or even a double eco. Oh, okay, they're going for the force buy here, so we're going to be seeing, by the looks of it, an eco on the next round.
Yeah, and Passions there, the double setup under wood really did work out. You saw, not only did Zadish get those first 2 kills, which was very well done, but then they didn't really expect Hampus to be there. He got himself 2 kills fairly easily without too much retaliation. And so that really allowed Passions to shut down that A-site push. Here's Carcass towards mid, though. They don't really expect the AWP, and Carcass gets a second kill. Where did those frags come from? The second one on the edge of the smoke gives his team the man advantage, and in comes the boost, but there goes Zadish, finding a quick headshot back, and Carcass wasn't in position to watch it with the AWP. So we go back to a 3-on-3, although Zadish could be in trouble. It's actually Hardwell to find a kill. Zadish does go down, and there we go. Nova gets a kill each to close out the round, and where did those frags come from?
I can tell you that they came from Carcass. That's a pretty obvious assumption right there, and nice shots from him, you gotta admit. That second kill onto short, though, I don't even know if he actually saw the player there, but hey, that was a successful shot. He gets the frag and also finishes things up by getting the 3rd frag onto the A bomb site. So those are some important frags there from Carcass, I gotta admit. And by the looks of it, you know, Passions, they lose one of their own, and then they decide to go for these sort of one-on-one pushes, and I have to admit, they haven't really been working out here for the CT side. Sometimes, yeah, they have, but in most scenarios, I gotta admit, not so much though. Hisky though spotting out the player there, but I have to admit, Brolin, even though he was in a nice spot to maybe get a frag or so, apparently he will not be getting such frags, and Nova still very much a 5 versus 5, and the T's, they haven't really acquired I gotta admit, some map control here.
Yeah, you can see them trying to make their way out towards mid. The smoke in towards window is helping them for the time being, but Hampus is here in towards window. Out comes the incendiary. Hampus thinking of going for a peek in the meantime. Norrison pushes in, but Zadish lining them up. He gets 2 kills, nearly the 3rd, but Hardwell finds the trade. Hampus is there, though, to take him down, and so now the B push has to come in, and Husky taps off the head there. How does he get that kill? We go back to a 2v2. The rotation is already fairly fast. The plant is going in for short. Carcass needs to be careful here. I think he's just about going to get the bomb down, and there goes Husky opening up. And Benny also is dropped by Carcass. That's AWP looking fairly good so far. And Nova, I said their T side might not be great, but they are proving me wrong. Already 8 on the board. And you can see Passion's money for this last round of the half not looking good.
No, it's not looking good here. Even though this first half is coming to a close, looks like Passions is, of course, going to be trying to go for the investment here, the force buy, if you will. And it's quite the lackluster one. I mean, they have some of those pistols coming in. Some of those upgraded pistols, that's nice to see, but anything more than that is just not possible. Well, the MP9 onto Zadish, though, is still, in some regard, maybe even a bit better than the pistol, but hey. If you take a look at Passion's setup right now, it hasn't really changed up that much. Again, they have 3 players towards this A bomb site. If it's going to be an A hit, then the setup is going to work out relatively good here for the CT side, but still, as we take a look at Nova, they're just trying to gather some map intel. I'm liking the fact that they're actually taking top mid. They should realize the fact that the CTs shouldn't have that much of a big of a bank. So taking top mid, even with the AK-47s, does make sense. So Passions, still, they themselves are gonna try to rely, I'd say, quite a lot on that A defense if it's gonna be an A push. Otherwise, things could go south relatively quickly.
Yeah, you already see Husky on your screen, the one man over towards B apps, but it looks like the rest of the team was focused on A. But as I say that, Nova have made their way now back towards the B site, so it seems like they might have had some idea there could be an A stack coming through. Either way, Passions again are able to rotate off because Nova have taken so much time that Passions just decide to go back to a default setup. So with 27 seconds left, the push will come forwards, but Zadish here with the MP9 trying to open up, gets a kill, and we're back to a 3-on-3 already. Here comes Zabby though, finding the trades. The AK is looking decent so far. As the bomb goes down, Benny and Rusty have to retake, but Benny is nowhere near the action. Finally coming in for the flank through towards B-Apps. There goes Rusty though, finding another kill. Benny doesn't have his gun out, so that allows Zabby to take him down easily. Rusty goes for the pop flash through. It does blind both players. Here comes the push, but Hardwell manages to find the headshot to close out the half. Decent effort from Passions there. They managed to get back towards B fairly quickly, but still not enough players rotating over in time. They didn't really have the full information. So Nova close out the first half with 9 rounds on the board. And considering, as you were saying, Passions have looked good on Mirage in the past, that's fairly surprising to see them have such a good first half scoreline.
Yeah, especially this team, as pretty much every other mixed team, they like playing on the CT side. The CT side pretty much relies on them getting kills, getting those headshots, and from time to time exchanging in some information, if it's an A push, if it's a B push. So for mixed teams playing now on the CT side, this is going to be quite good here for Nova, and I think they're going to be quite happy. But this push here onto the B bombs that is very fast, and Benny finally getting his second frag here in the game, and Rusty as well picking up a frag. Now this is not going to be as easy as one might have thought. Nova crumbling here on the CT side. The defense is barely there. Carcass and Norson, they may try to go for the retake, but pretty much at this point they're gonna try to acquire as many frags as possible. With those frags, they might be getting some more money if it's possible, and Nova are gonna be having it difficult here at the second pistol round, and Carcass is gonna meet his end. Rusty coming in from behind, and there we go. At least Noah get at least 1 kill in that round, but that was so fast from Passions. But it wasn't anything fancy. It was just a good old rush onto the B bombs, and really relying on getting the frags, and the frags they did get.
Yeah, and after Nova lose that pistol round so convincingly, I'm happy to see Carcass... Well, okay, never mind. I was going to say I was happy to see Carcass save for the AWP, but he decides not to. He goes for the Deagle, because he was looking good with that AWP in the first half, and especially on the CT side of Mirage, there's a fair few positions you can play. You can try and play in towards window if you don't get smoked. You can try and play over towards ticket booth and look in towards connector. There are possibilities, but he decides he doesn't want that AWP in that first gun round, just going for the Deag straight away. So Nova will be hoping that investment pays off into this round. Already though, you can see Passions out mid. Carcass peeks into the open, and Rusty was caught with a smoke in his hands, but still manages to recover quickly enough for the headshots. In the meantime, the rest of Nova have pushed their way out through A, but Norrison gets stabbed in the back, sorry. Zadish takes him down, and so that might just give up the game. I wouldn't expect Passions to push through B after they realized that there was a player all the way into T spawn, and you can see them now slowing things down, just making sure they know exactly what's happening. And with Nova already losing 2, I don't really see a way for them into this round as the push comes in.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult at that, unless Hardwell, unless Hardwell can pick up some great frags here if possible, but even then, he's not going to be getting a single frag out of it, so this is still going to be very much Passions round, and Nova doing barely any sort of damage, and that's what you would expect, If you see the CT side going for the force buy, you at least expect them to get at least 3, maybe even 4 frags into the round, and best case scenario for them is to win the round in general. With the very little damage that they did deal there, Nova, the force buy, when you think about it, all in all, wasn't really that worth it. Now, of course, they're just going to be going for a good old-fashioned eco here. USPs across the board, except for Zabby's alone, some P250, but yeah, you can't expect much from the CT side, and I do like the fact that they're putting at least a bit more emphasis on one part of the map. Like in this case, it's pretty much A. You have 3 players there. Zabby going for the peak there, and he will be getting the frag on the Hampus, so I guess that's pretty good with the P250. Another frag there for Zabby. Could go for more, but there's Hardwell with the frag of his own, and the USPs are coming through. Benny and Rusty, they're still surviving for this T side, but the question is for how long, as it's still 5 CTs up against 2 of those Ts. Benny has been spotted, and he doesn't have the bomb. That'd be Rusty with the bomb on his shoulders, and things are not going to be looking as good here for Passions as I might have thought.
Yeah, the two remaining players are going to stick together and hope they can find the kills. But Zabby gets the timing perfect. On just 3 HP, he finds another frag. And unless Benny can take down 3 more opponents, this round will be going in favor of Nova. The bomb's down towards mid, and Benny will also go down. Hardwell finishing him off. And that round for Nova goes in their favor. I was not expecting that, to say the least, but they managed to get the round win, and now it's Passions who are in a little bit of trouble. In fact, I thought they were going to go for the force buy here, but they decided to just go for the CZs. I mean, they could have got a couple of rifles there, but they take the more conservative approach, if you like. They wanted to, I guess, get that full gun round as soon as possible. And there is always the chance they can win this round. You can see Passions all grouped up around the B site, so that's something to look out for in this round. Right now, there is only one player committed to the B site. That's Hardwell jumping for info, but he should spot them out fairly quickly. And so as the push comes in, let's see if Nova can hold this one off. Hardwell does get blinded up, so as the push comes in, he could be in trouble. Only the 1 kill before he goes down, and that's an AK for Brolan. As I say that, though, here comes Carcass already rotated, but Hampus gets a kill towards mid, flicks back around. Nearly the frag on towards Husky, but still a 2-on-3 after the bomb is planted. Not too bad for Passions.
Oh, it's not bad at all. I mean, especially with this Breachy coming in here. Brolan and Zadish don't have the worst positions in the world. Brolan also getting another frag there. And Carcass and Norrison now make it all up to Carcass in a 1 versus 2 where he's only got the op in his hands, and it's just going to be too difficult. It's going to be very difficult for the opera. Will be getting the 1 frag, and he just might get the second one, but Zadish has got the AK, and the AK will reign supreme as the Nova crumble. While it's retaking on the bomb side. Of course, having 1 player on the B bomb side wasn't, I'd say, the smartest of choices, to be honest. It really wasn't the smartest of choices. Surely the player in B had the backup from short, but I think he was preoccupied with one of those players actually pushing up short. So in the end, I mean, that works out relatively good, very well there for Passions. They go for the conservative approach, and it works out for them, even in the fact that they're actually able to get the round win. So very nicely done there from Passions. Nova struggling a bit, and now a bit of an investment from the CT side. It's actually a full-on investment. Carcass again with the op, but he's towards middle, so he's not going to be seeing action soon enough, or he just might, as the push will commence. And now the T's are choosing the A bomb site for the taking, and looks like they're going to be having quite a good job here. They're going to be planting the bomb without any sort of issue. Except for Nova, this is the decision they gotta make. Do they retake or do they hold what they've got?
Yeah, pretty tough spot to be in. Without the kit, without any utility, it's so difficult to make their way back. And already you can see Carcass not really going towards the site, although he's going to come in towards short. So Nova sticking around towards A, but it doesn't look like they're going to push in. The time has already ticked down too far. And so Nova will look to save what they can. I'm interested to see what the players with the pistols do. You can see Hardwell in towards CT. He's thinking about taking a fight. In the meantime, Carcass got a kill in towards Connector. Hardwell does go down, but Zabby is going to try and sneak away with another rifle here in towards Connector. I think that's where one was dropped. Looks like he doesn't make his way in, though. So just going to see Husky and Carcass save those 2 guns. But still, heading into this round, the money's not flowing on the Nova side, and I wouldn't be surprised to see just no investment here to make sure they can get a buy as soon as possible.
Yeah, they're gonna try to get that buy, I presume, on the 22nd round, but for the time being, they're just gonna be sticking with what they have from the round previously. Carcass with his op, Husky with the save M4. That's definitely not a lot, you know, to work with here for the Nova side, but then again, if you remember previously, a couple of rounds back, Nova won a round with just pistols. No armors, no nothing. Well, to be frank, 4 USPs and a P250, and the P250 did most of the heavy lifting. But in the end, those are pistols, and well, Nova, they have some of those weapons. Can they shine through, though? The problem is, though, is that they're pretty much out of range. And speaking about out of range, that's going to be Husky on Carcass now, who I presume, again, will try to go for the save at this point. Save the M4. Save the op, keeping in the next round, and that's just going to be the job of the remaining 2.
Yeah, it's never fun to go saving, but sometimes it has to be done. And in a 2-on-5, that should happen. Carcass is getting some kills for himself, and Husky might find one as well. Nicely done there as he takes the man down, and Carcass now does have to be in danger, but he finds another frag. So Passions losing a few guns here, and their money is decent, but not as strong as you may expect. So that could become relevant in the future if Passions do start to lose some rounds. But for the time being, they're still in good enough shape. They should just save these last 2 guns by the looks of things. However, at the same time, good job from Nova there at the end, starting to warm up a little bit. Carcass on that AWP could be the difference maker, holding that into this next round, because you can see the rest of the team wouldn't have really had the money to drop that for him. So that was fairly important for Carcass to get that saved, and he manages to do that. And so now into this round, we'll get to see if that AWP does make a difference, as Benny also goes for one on the T side. And Passions, again, are going to line up around the A site. This might be yet another A site execute. And let's see if Nova can deal with this time, because so far this has been very successful for Passions.
It has been. To be honest, they had a good start. A bit of they got shook there after losing the round against Pistols, but now they are kicking it strong. They're kicking into high gear, and this round especially, they're going to be pushing on safe bombs, and there's only one defender. Now we're seeing the defense coming in here strong, as Hard will be getting the one frag there, but there's Zayed. And the remaining CTs, well, they should try to go for the retake at this point. Carcass, though, there's a bit of a gap in the smoke. He's gonna be allowed to get that frag. And now Passions, they're gonna have to push here, I believe. 4 CTs here, but oh no, take a look at Hampus coming in from Connector, taking down Zappy. And there's Benny with the frag, and now Hampus could be getting his second. And that's actually gonna be Zaid onto Norrison. And even though that looked like a possibility for Nova to get around, looks like things are not looking as good. But as they say so again, this round has turned completely 180. Husky 1 versus 1 against Hampus. And Hampus, he should realize the fact of where Husky should be at, but this is still going to be a difficult 1 versus 1.
Yeah, the bomb is recovered. Does Husky spot that out? Not with the smoke being up. So Hampus can just sneak away, and Husky is none the wiser. 22 seconds left. Hampus comes back into Connector, but Husky spots him out. Now Hampus thinking about going back. He's going to come to the A site, and Husky is letting it happen. He's going to reposition over towards jungle. He is aware it's going to be an A site plant, and now Husky hoping to get the timing right, but Hampus can just fall back in towards A ramp and have a very strong position to watch towards the bomb. And so now it's all up to Husky to make the move. Hampus has got the bomb down. He's done his bit. And that's going to force Husky to make the aggressive play. And already he shoots into the dead body, making his way forwards. With only the 1 flashbang, it's fairly difficult. And also with Hampus playing so safe in towards A slope, Husky's going to be in some trouble here. He does have the kit, but he's going to fake the defuse. And here comes the fight. Hampus peeking up, wins the duel, surviving on just 7 HP to close out the round. Fairly close for Passions, but they get the job done. And that is a big round win, because Nova now have a questionable position in terms of their money. They could have a couple of players invest, but it looks like they're just going to go for a half buy, and so Passion should be in good shape to take a 13th as well when you look at the buy of Nova.
Yeah, you take a look at the buy of Nova, and that's going to be heartbreaking at this point. That was a possibility for Nova to get around when it was relatively close in the end. But close is simply not good enough, as the second half is coming to a close. Nova got to start acquiring more rounds, and yeah, it looks like Passions is going to be the ones to acquire a round, at least in this one, the 23rd round. Nova, they have some of those pistols, they have some of those deagles, but it's simply not going to be enough to go for the retake here, especially as the players are relatively far away, except for no Carcass. He's actually going for a tour of the Mirage, flanking throughout the entirety of T-Spawn. Might just be getting a couple frags here, maybe double lonesome frag. There we go, 1 dig opening things up, but this is still, I'd say, not going to be good enough to go for this sort of retake. They can try to equip and do some economical damage on the T side, but that's still, for the T's for which, the second half is coming to a close, money isn't the biggest of issue. It really just comes down to winning rounds at this point. And Nova, with them trying to go for the investment here, that is what they're going to try to accomplish. They're going to try to win around here if possible and have more than just that lonesome 1 round they won previously.
Yeah, exactly. Only 1 out of 8 rounds so far for Nova on their CT side, and their money has been an issue in some of them. So in this round they do have the full buy in their hands. No more excuses. This is a huge round for Nova, at this point. This round number 24 could really decide this one, because if Nova lose, they could be in a position where their buy won't be as good as they would have hoped for, if they even can afford a proper buy into the next one. So here we go. Let's see how this round plays out. Again, Passions all grouped up around A at the start of the round. I'm fairly surprised to see this from Passions so often, because they are risking a push coming out through B apps and the information going in favour of Nova. You can see they are just going for the quick A execute, so that won't be too much of a possibility. Norrison gets that first kill. Zadish on the site does find that headshot, and all of a sudden Nova lose the A site again. The bomb will go down. Rusty is low on health, however Nova still have to retake in a 3-on-4, and a fair few nades left for Passions being thrown out to try and slow things further, but Nova themselves also have utility, so it could go either way. As I say that though, Benny gets an all-important kill towards CT. In comes the trade from Hardwell back to a 2-on-3, and the incendiary from Zabi might get him a kill. Indeed it does. So now it's a 2-on-2 that becomes winnable for Nova, especially with the nades coming in. Rusty could be in trouble. Here comes the push. Rusty does find the frag. There's the trade from Zabi looking for the final kill, but he doesn't spot Hampus behind the flames. And so Passions take yet another round win into their favour. And that one could be the deciding one, even though Nova still have the bye. They're down 14-10.
Yeah, behind the flames was Hampus. Difficult for the CT player to spot out the T. And yeah, that's going to mean that Passions, even though it was, as a couple of rounds previously, relatively close, the clutch goes in favor of the Swedes. And again, this is sort of reaching this point in which Nova, soon we're going to be seeing a do-or-die situation for the CTs. If they're not able to accomplish this round, if they're not going to be able to acquiring this round right here, we could very much see Passions on the 15. And that would mean that Nova, either they win it or they lose the best of one. So it's going to matter quite a bit. But Norrison, 2 huge frags from him. And now with the bomb being dropped, this should be, and I presume it will be, the round here for Nova. Savvy had a good angle, but he's actually going to put back away. And thus Hampus, with an all to do here for the terrorist side, he's going to have to start things off by recovering the bomb. And once the bomb will be recovered, then with an all to do here, check as many angles as possible. Gotta try to find out where the CTs could be hiding at. And even then, a situation where he should be holding off retake, I think is going to be of quite the difficultness.
Yeah, right now Nova are very spread out across the map. And with Zabi and Norrison both being low, that could become a little bit scary. Norrison, however, is up there pushed in towards Palace. So if Hampus goes for the plant on the A site, he should be able to get the information needed. Although Hampus is going to clear Palace by the looks of things. He's made his way up. And this could be a free kill right now if the timing is right. And indeed, Norrison does not expect that angle. And so with 20 seconds left, Hampus will get the bomb down. Although Hardwell in towards CT was thinking about the peak, he decides to play safe. And there we go. The timing is right for Hardwell. He does eventually take down Hampus. Again, a little bit scary, but Nova get the round win. They get the AWP saved, and now they do get the chance to try to put some round wins together. They finally break the streak of Passions that have been alive for a while here. But again, they have to make sure that they don't just lose this next round. Otherwise, they could be in a lot of trouble. They still need to put round wins together in a row. And we'll have to see if that happens in this 26th round.
Yeah, the 26th round is, I'd say, going to be also a round of great importance, because this is where pretty much, you know, Nova, they could get ecoed if they lose this one. If they get ecoed, they're barely going to be having any sort of money in the possibly last round of the second half. So that's a scary prospect for the CTs. For Passions, though, if they end up losing this round, the 3 of their players, you know, they can invest in the AKs. That's not that big of an issue, but for Zayed and Brolan, that could be a bit more difficult. Oh, to be honest, that'd be Rusty and Benny. But anyhow, Passion's gonna be changing things up, gonna go for the rush onto the B bomb site, and for the time being, the Hardwell will be dropping the bomb, allowing a quicker rotate. But Zabby's here. Zabby with a second one, and now Rusty and Hampus. Can they get the frags? Well, Rusty can, and Hampus coming in from behind will drop in Carcass, and now Hiskey in a 1 versus 2 with the FAMAS. Can the FAMAS do it? And the thing is, though, he is gonna get bamboozled. The T side is making their way onto the A side. And now Hiskey with an all to do here. The clutch, I'd say it's gonna be difficult, especially where Hamp is taking the position he is in right now. And if Hiskey, which seems to be coming from jungle, is still gonna be having quite the difficult affair here. He's you know, he got himself a defuse kit, which is nice, but he needs to get these frags.
Yeah, Husky does have a smoke as well as that kit, as you were saying. But he's having to clear so many positions. You see the push coming into a ramp, but he has no idea that Passions are both playing in the same position. In comes the smoke towards the bomb. Husky not going for the defuse just yet. There we go. He's trying to stick it now. The nade lands, and that allows Rusty to finish him off with the 4K. And so Passions now have the chance to close out this map right here, right now, and just look at the buy for Nova. Already you can see Husky forced down to his CZ. There is one rifle, but just a FAMAS for Norrison. And the rest of the team will also be forced down to weak weapons. Not looking good for Nova unless they can find some miracle kills. And to be fair, there was that one round they won where they had almost all USPs. So there's always the possibility for Nova, even though they've been struggling. However, as I say that, Hampus already gets the first kill. That was Karkas trying to make it happen, and Rusty himself finds another frag. It's all falling apart for Nova here. They've got 3 players left to try and save this game. And at this point, it's not looking good for their chances. I think the push is going to come towards B, and Hardwell being forced out. The counter flash slows things down, and here comes the rotate, so maybe a chance, but it's pretty much all over now as the kills come in.
Yeah, it's rip. It's over at this point. I mean, Orson, he might try to go for the clutch, but it's just going to be a bit too difficult even for him. 16-11 is the scoreline. Nova had a relatively good chance, especially after having a reasonably solid T side, except they crumbled. Oh, they crumbled on the CT side. Some of the crucial rounds which they could have won didn't, and thus allowing the Swedes to come through. So the scoreline favoring the Swedes. They're going to be having quite the easy affair here on the T side of Mirage, and we should be heading over to our next matchup, shouldn't we, Haka?
Yes, indeed, we will be shortly. I don't know how long it will take them to get into it. You never know with these sort of things. I think it is going to be Passions playing again up against El Quivet, if I'm not mistaken. So Passions might need a little bit of a break. We will have to wait and see on that one. But coming off the back of the win, I'm sure they will be liking their chances. Either way, we will be back with that as soon as it is ready after this break.